What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully you're all doing well out there. Welcome back to the Draft.com studios, where today, talking wide receivers, the top 30 rankings here heading into the weekend. Once again, the Thursday night game is over. Those players not included in those rankings, trying to continue setting those lineups here for this weekend. If you're looking for a more in-depth analysis on these players, head over to the Start Sit videos on the channel. We go a little bit more in depth over there. This is just a quick run through of the top 30 overall wide receivers here heading into the weekend for week 6. Not going to take a whole lot of time. Let's get right into the list. All right, week 6 wide receiver rankings, top 30. Here we go. Number 1, Julio Jones, Atlanta Falcons. Looking for a big bounce back week here from Julio, going up against the lowly Arizona Cardinals pass defense. Looking for a big week. Got Julio Jones, number 1. Number 2, going to be Michael Thomas going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. No Jalen Ramsey, and Michael Thomas is still playing great even with Teddy Bridgewater. Yes, maybe the touchdown upside is limited at times from week to week. However, usage still through the roof. Going to see a lot of targets. Got Michael Thomas, number 2. Number 3, Keenan Allen. A lot of people starting to think this guy's slowing down or really starting to struggle. He's really not. 2 weeks ago, he had a long touchdown play called back. Had that not been called back on a bogus penalty, we may not even be talking about any struggles from Keenan Allen at all. Keeping him fired up in the lineup this week, going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got him at wide receiver 3. Number 4, DeAndre Hopkins, Houston Texans. Could this be the breakout week for DeAndre Hopkins here in 2019? Like the matchup going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, where they're going to have to throw the ball all 4 quarters. There could be a lot of points scored. There could be a lot of yardage put up in this game. Hopefully a lot of it goes to DeAndre Hopkins. Right now, got him at wide receiver 4. Number 5, Amari Cooper, Dallas Cowboys, having himself a great start to the season so far now. Gets a matchup going up against the New York Jets. Great matchup for Amari Cooper. He's highly involved in this offense, and as long as Zeke Elliott is in the backfield, it's going to draw defenders in, giving Amari Cooper a lot of one-on-one coverage, and he's absolutely destroying it here in 2019. Right now, number 6 is going to be Tyreek Hill, the Kansas City Chiefs. Still sounds like he could come back and be good to go this weekend going up against the Houston Texans. We just talked about DeAndre Hopkins and the amount of points and yards that could be put up in this game. If that's the case and Tyreek Hill is back, you need him in your lineup right now. Got him at wide receiver 6. Number 7 is going to be Chris Godwin. Is he the new number 1 in Tampa Bay? Because he sure is a lot more consistent than Mike Evans at this point. Chris Godwin putting up some absolutely crazy fantasy numbers right now with a matchup going up against the Carolina Panthers. Hopefully, Mike Evans draws the coverage of James Bradberry, because if so, Chris Godwin could have himself another big day in London. Got him at wide receiver 7. Number 8 is going to be Cooper Kupp, another one of these guys putting up huge numbers in 2019, but a difficult matchup going up against one of the best defenses in all of football with the San Francisco 49ers. But the way that the Rams use Cooper Kupp, they move him all around the field and try to get him the ball in space, get the ball in his hands, let him make something happen. Huge touchdown upside, huge red zone threat there for Jared Goff. Cooper Kupp, got him at wide receiver 8 this week. Number 9 is Adam Thielen, Minnesota Vikings. Great matchup this week going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, one of the worst secondaries and one of the worst teams as far as giving up fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Adam Thielen, this safer option of these wide receiver duos between him and Stephon Diggs. Great matchup. Going to see the volume, has that touchdown upside, the safer play in Minnesota, and now hopefully they continue to focus more on the passing game, especially this week. Difficult run defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. Look for more throwing. Look for more Adam Thielen. Got him at wide receiver 9. Number 10, Tyler Boyd, Cincinnati Bengals, going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, it sounds like A.J. Green's starting to get back into practice. He could be back in a week or 2. However, the volume is going to remain there for Tyler Boyd, one of these guys who's going to go out on a weekly basis and get you double-digit targets. A great matchup. If the Baltimore offense can get things going again, it will force Cincinnati to have to throw all 4 quarters. Love Tyler Boyd again. Got him at wide receiver 10. Number 11, Tyler Lockett, Seattle Seahawks. Now, I mentioned in the start-sit video that the volume hasn't really been there for Tyler Lockett the past few weeks. Only 4 targets in each of the last couple games. Prior to that, one of these guys getting double-digit targets on a weekly basis, though. The touchdown upside will always be there, but now he gets a matchup going up against the Cleveland Browns, who sound like they're going to have Williams and Ward back in that secondary. Tyler Lockett moves all throughout the field, though. Big play threat. Still got him inside the top 12 right now at wide receiver 11. Number 12 is going to be one of the guys he's facing in that game. It's Odell Beckham, one of the guys that's really irritating a lot of fantasy owners right now, but it's not all Odell's fault. Heck, it's not even all Baker's fault. Yeah, some of it is absolutely. However, the play calling in Cleveland has been horrendous. Why are they motioning Odell Beckham into the backfield? Why is this guy not getting peppered with targets on a weekly basis? Something's going to have to change if they want to win games in Cleveland. Got him bumped down a little bit, but still inside the top 12 right here at number 12 here in Week 6. Number 13 is Larry Fitzgerald, Arizona Cardinals, going up against those Atlanta Falcons. We've talked about this game a few times. We expect a lot of points. We expect a lot of yards. Don't know if Christian Kirk's going to be 100%. Expect more targets going the way of Larry Fitzgerald. Got him right now, wide receiver 13. Number 14, Kenny Golladay, Detroit Lions, going up against the Green Bay Packers Monday night. The touchdown upside is always going to be there on a weekly basis for Kenny Golladay. I expect a lot more of the same this week. He is the wide receiver 1 in that offense, and going up against Green Bay, if they can continue to score, they're going to continue to throw in Detroit like Kenny Golladay. Got him at wide receiver 14. 15 is going to be DJ Moore, Carolina Panthers. They have a matchup in London against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Extremely hard to run against Tampa Bay, so I expect them to have to throw a little bit more. They're not going to totally go away from Christian McCaffrey, obviously, but I do expect more passing from the Carolina Panthers this week. DJ Moore has that big playability, and the Tampa Bay secondary gives up a lot of fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Right now, got DJ Moore at 15. Number 16 is going to be Robert Woods, Los Angeles Rams. Still unclear whether Brandon Cooks comes back and plays, whether he's 100% healthy or not. So Robert Woods is going to be the next best option for the Rams. Difficult matchup going up against San Francisco, one of the best defenses in the league. However, they may not be able to beat them over the top because the defense of the San Francisco 49ers can get to the quarterback so quickly. So a lot of underneath routes, a lot of short routes to move the chains. I can see a lot of receptions going the way of Robert Woods here in Week 6. Got him at wide receiver 16. Number 17 is another piece of that offense in the Atlanta-Arizona game. It's Calvin Ridley. They're really going to continue to try to get this guy going. They cannot go weeks without him producing in this offense. If they want to continue to win games in Atlanta, they continue it this week against a poor Arizona defense. Got Calvin Ridley at 17. 18 is going to be Juju, and that's way far down the list from where a lot of people want to see Juju, but now they have third-string quarterback Devlin Hodges, and we really don't know what to expect from Juju. The volume should be there. No James Washington. He'll be out a few weeks, so he should get peppered with targets. He's a solid wide receiver 2 at this point, but, the unknown of Devlin Hodges really limits the upside. Got him all the way down at 18. 19 is going to be Devontae Adams. Kind of not expecting him to play at this point, to be completely honest. I would be really surprised if he plays, and if he does, it'll be in a limited fashion and maybe more of a decoy role. However, until he gets ruled out, he's still sitting right here, wide receiver 19, and we're just watching the practice reports to see if he can get anything in here before the weekend. All right, number 20 is going to be Terry McLaurin. Washington Redskins really like him this week. Why? The return of Case Keenum under center for the Washington Redskins. The first 3 weeks of the season that these two played together, Terry McLaurin was wide receiver 8 in fantasy. Like him a lot this week. Huge ceiling, got him at wide receiver 20 and trending up. 21 is last chance Stephon Diggs. This matchup is just so great going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. They literally cannot stop anybody from throwing the ball. If Stephon Diggs comes out this week and does not get volume or produce any solid numbers, this may be the last time that Stephon Diggs even makes the top 30 going in, unless maybe he gets traded to another team. I don't know if he's pissed somebody off in the locker room or what's going on, but Stephon Diggs continues to fall. Right now, got him at 21, and the only reason he's that high is just due to the matchup alone. Number 22 is going to be DJ Chark. It's Chark week this week. Difficult matchup going up against the New Orleans Saints. Now, this is usually a matchup where you want to start your wide receivers against. However, DJ Chark could draw Marshawn Lattimore. Now, Marshawn Lattimore absolutely blew the first few weeks of the season, and here the past couple weeks has really stepped up his game. What do we see from him this week? He's highly inconsistent, but DJ Chark has proven that he needs to be at least inside the top 24. He's trending up at this point. Heck, next week we could see him in the teens if he can produce this week up against Marshawn Lattimore, but right now, got him at wide receiver 22. 23, Will Fuller coming off the absolutely enormous Week 5 day, and he's really going to become a part of this offense going forward, at least while Kenny Stills is out. All of a sudden, Deshaun Watson remembered that he played football with Will Fuller last week, and he took away almost all the volume from DeAndre Hopkins. The opposing defense this week, the Kansas City Chiefs, are going to pay attention to Will Fuller. They cannot afford to have another huge game like that against him. I expect the ball to be spread out a little bit more this week, going a little bit more towards Hopkins and Fuller 50-50 instead of strictly on Fuller. Got him right now, wide receiver 23. 24, Marquise Brown. His volume has really started to dip here the past few weeks. They need to get this target volume back up to Marquise Brown. He may not be 100% healthy at this point. It's something we need to monitor and pay attention to. Got him at the very back half of the wide receiver 2 group just because that big play is a possibility every single week. He can save it with a huge touchdown on a weekly basis. Right now, got him at 24. Number 25 is going to be Mike Evans. I have him as the number 1 wide receiver 3 here. I don't like Mike Evans this week going up against James Bradbury of the Carolina Panthers, who absolutely shut him down last week. Not only that, Mike Evans highly inconsistent at this point. Really hard to trust him. He can win your fantasy day. He can lose your fantasy day. The safety just isn't there. We need to see a little bit more consistency from Mike Evans. I got him all the way down at 25, which a lot of you probably think I'm crazy for, but I just can't trust him at this point. Number 26 is going to be Curtis Samuel going up against those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I mentioned earlier, difficult to run on Tampa Bay. They're going to have to throw. They're not going to abandon the run and Christian McCaffrey, but I do expect more passing volume this week. Got Curtis Samuel at 26. 27 is going to be Courtland Sutton, now the number 1 wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. He has that big play upside. He can get you big chunks of yardage with very few receptions, and he's definitely somebody who gets looked at once they get close to the red zone. Courtland Sutton got him right now at 27 in a somewhat difficult matchup going up against the Tennessee Titans. 28 is going to be Michael Gallup, Dallas Cowboys. Similar to Cooper, he's feasting on one-on-one coverage right now. In his first game back from injury, saw double-digit targets. I think he's good to go. Got him at wide receiver 28, and somebody who I'd like to have higher. 29 is going to be Dede Westbrook, Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, if Marshawn Lattimore is on DJ Chark, I expect Dede Westbrook to get peppered with targets in this game. He saw decent volume here the past few weeks with Gardner Minshew under center. He could see it again this week. Got him at wide receiver 29. Number 30 is going to be Jarvis Landry, Cleveland Browns. Now, I expect Cleveland to come back out and be a little bit more reserved, not so trick play-ish here in Week 6. They got to get back in the win column. I expect a heavy dose of Nick Chubb on the ground. Jarvis Landry, it may be a safe floor, a safer play, but the ceiling may not be there. It's just too inconsistent. Right now, got him at wide receiver 30. All right, those are my top 30 wide receivers here for Week 6 fantasy football. Let me know what you think. I'm sure you disagree with some of them. I get that. You don't have to put a comment down below that I'm stupid and I suck at something because we don't agree. If we always agreed, there'd be no purpose in you watching. Don't forget that. So make sure you leave a comment down below. If you think somebody should be higher, by all means, put it down in the comment section, but also tell me, who do you take out? Who do you drop down in order to put that guy that you like a little bit higher? That's where we start to really help each other out and dial in these rankings. Looking forward to that. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your week, a great weekend. Good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you guys later.